Hey, good morning, everybody, and Happy New Year, and welcome to the 2021 season of Telling It Like It Is. I'm excited about the new season. My name is Jade Alberts, the founder of Peer Guidance. We listen, connect, and help startups grow, guide, and expand. Sharing knowledge and stories is why I started Telling It Like It Is. It is live. If you have a question, ask away. If you're watching this after the fact, put your question in there, and it will get answered. We have a new a new sponsor, Startup TNT. Thank you for your sponsorship. And they're in an investment summit, connects new and experienced angel investors with startups. To date, they have invested over $1 million. For more information, go to startuptnt.com or just click on them in the comments section. And I am extremely excited about today's guest. We met about 6 months ago. We had a great call. And Chris Doble, the program director at VMSA. Chris, thank you for joining me, and how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, Jade. Happy New Year. Thanks for having me on. I think you're actually really the first real official work call I've had in 2021. So thanks for bringing me on.
Well, absolutely. And the funny thing is, people may not know this, but I always bring my guests on half an hour. We have a little talk, and I think we spent most of our time talking baseball, and you said you didn't have a real vacation in 2020, so you took some good time off and you're refreshed and you're ready to go.
Yeah, ready to get back at it, ready to grow VMSA, ready to watch more baseball. It's going to be a good year.
Oh, it's going to be a great year. I'm excited for it. So what I'll do is I'll give a brief introduction here about yourself, and then we'll get after it. So Chris is a program manager at the VMSA, an entrepreneurship mentorship program focused on developing leaders through team mentorship and coaching. Chris is born and raised Calgarian. Prior to jumping into the innovation space, he spent a number of years working in the music industry in Toronto, New York, and Calgary. Sorry, it just went away. In a variety of roles, including artist, marketing and publicity, studio management, and audio post-production. He has an honors degree in communication and business administration from the University of Ottawa. He's a hobbyist musician, enjoys mountain-based activities, and loves talking baseball. So I touched base on how we met, and obviously over the last little bit, I've been meeting a lot of people via Zoom, whether it's through the CIC or Rainforest or lots of different events that are going on. And you and I had a great conversation about mentorship, and I am passionate about it. And I'm wearing this shirt today as it takes a village, because we had a mental summit mental wellness summit just before Christmas. And this is kind of the slogan, because we realize that you can't do things alone. And mentorship is such an important part of that. So let's talk about why you believe mentorship is important.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I like the slogan, it takes a village. It's a good one. I mean, I think like really broadly, very generally speaking, I mean, I think just having people that you can talk to that have been down a road before you, that have, they've made their mistakes, they've earned their victories, they've earned their scars, and are willing to share that experience and share that knowledge, and, maybe help you avoid some of the pitfalls or some of the mistakes that they made. Like, just generally speaking, I just think that's such an important thing in general. And then I guess speaking more specifically to the venture mentoring service of Alberta, we really approach mentorship through the lens of entrepreneurship. And I just think that for a lot of entrepreneurs, it can be a really lonely road at times. And I think founders just don't always have people in their networks that they can go to have, the open and honest conversations about the challenges that they're going through. And entrepreneurship is a unique thing, and you don't always have people in your social circles or in your families who come from entrepreneurial backgrounds or that can really relate to what it's like to grow or scale a business. And so yeah, I think it's important to have people to talk to, and I think too, as a founder, like, you don't always have, there's certain conversations, I guess, that you can't always have with your investors or your board or your co-founders, sometimes even your families. And so I think, the role of mentor, having someone that, again, you can go to and have sort of the open, vulnerable conversations about the challenges that you're going through. It's important. It's important to be able to have that, and to have people that, like I said, have been there before, that have probably seen a lot of those challenges, have been in the shoes, and can share some of their knowledge. I think it's important. So.
Well, I couldn't agree more. And it is such and you used a lot of the phrases you use there. I mean, it's something that we talk about, not only me personally, but as Peer Guidance. I've had my mentor, Rob Ryder, for probably 20, over 20 years. And what I like about him and our relationship, and it's turned into a friendship. He used to be the president and founder of a company, and I was just a sales rep, but I really looked up to him. And as I grew and became an entrepreneur, I would phone him up and run things by him, and he would just like, "Oh, Jay, you're an idiot. Don't do that." In a good way. But our relationship was at that point where it didn't have to beat around the bush, and that's kind of the way I am anyway. But it was such a really good thing. And he goes, "Wow, you know what, Jay, go talk to this person because he just went through it and he started a company and they're in that industry, and you might be able to gain some knowledge from them." And it's such important, as you said, to get there, to be there. And even in our hockey draft here that was on Sunday night, a gentleman that I didn't know, I never met, his first year in it. And he goes, "I looked at your LinkedIn profile, Jay, and I just started my own business. Can we have a call?" And we did have a call on Monday. And he's like, "Man, can I reach out to you at any time?" I'm like, "Absolutely you can," because it's just, like you said, sometimes you just need someone to tell it like it is.
Hey, there you go. Throw the slogan in. It's great. But that's exactly it. And I think too, like you said, it's nice just, to have that sounding board, just to have someone that is maybe arm's length from you, that's a little bit disconnected, that, it's someone that you can trust, that they're not gonna, there's sort of an unbiased relationship there, that they can just tell it to you like it is, but just someone that you can bounce ideas off of and get feedback and know that it's coming from a good place. It's important. And that's certainly, from our program standpoint, that's one of the real positive impacts that we see the program can have, is just in providing those relationships and providing that room where people can come and open up and, have mentors that'll be there to ask questions and dig in and really drill into what the root causes of what these founders' challenges can be, and then obviously be there to help them kind of work through that. And, if you talk to a lot of the entrepreneurs in our program, I think they'll all tell you that that's where a lot of the value is just in having that, those sounding boards and the board of consciousness, as we like to call it.
Yeah, well, so true. And then of course we had a mutual friend when I posted it on Instagram, and Dean Duffin, Linear Logistics. He says, "Oh my goodness, you're having Dean Chris on. What a great guy. I love the program." And it, obviously I knew the importance, of what you guys do and what you do and your passion for mentorship, because it is essential at every single level in management and a business. But I love the VMSA tagline, and it's building better entrepreneurs who build better companies. So can you explain the VMSA mentoring philosophy?
Yeah, sure thing. So yeah, what I like about the tagline is the emphasis really is on the entrepreneur, and that's really what our whole program is about. I think there's a lot of programs in the community that will help entrepreneurs build strong businesses, and we really focus on the individual and how we can build better entrepreneurs as leaders for their organization. So, there's another kind of analogy that we always like to use, and it's that, our mentors don't build the race car, they train the race car driver. So we really try to stay out of giving kind of direct advice and guidance, or, avoid getting into the mechanics of the car or the business. And for us, it's a lot more about keeping the focus on the individual. How do we develop things like leadership capacity? How do we build strategic thinking and critical thinking in the founder? And, of course, we want to see success come to these businesses, but we want that to flow through the growth and development of the entrepreneur, with the ultimate thinking being then that, you're striving to have them build better businesses. But even if ultimately the businesses have to pivot or aren't successful, you've still built up that leadership capacity in the founder that they can then take with them to their next endeavor. And we just kind of feel that by keeping that focus on the individual, it just sort of raises that bar for entrepreneurship in the community as a whole. So yeah, we really like that approach. The model for our program comes from MIT. So MIT built this framework for a mentorship program about 20 years ago, and they license it out. So we're one of about 100 VMS programs around the world. And that focus on the race car driver is really a key piece. And then the other key piece you had mentioned kind of in the bio up front is that team mentorship aspect. So each entrepreneur that comes into the program gets matched with 3 mentors that meet collectively on an ongoing basis. So it really becomes like a like a mentorship board, which we just find can have a lot of value as well. We try to be mindful when we're building these teams that no two mentors come from the same background. So as an entrepreneur in the program, you're sitting around a table with a breadth of skill set and perspective and expertise, which can be, first of all, it's really valuable for the entrepreneur, but then we just find for the mentors as well, when you're around a table with, two other business leaders, there's just a lot of great shared learning that happens, and it can be a really engaging program for them as well. So yeah, so again, it's team mentorship. And to go back to your initial question, sort of the philosophy, really the focus is more so on building the founder than it is on building the business.
Wow. So what is MIT?
Sorry, Massachusetts Institute
of
Technology.
I'm teasing.
Oh, okay, you got me. just a small school on the eastern seaboard of the United States.
A tiny school that's done a few things.
It's done a couple of things in the technology and innovation space. Yeah.
No, I really like that philosophy, because I mean, it's hard to say that leaders, everyone says, all leaders, once a leader, all leader. And then that's so far from the truth. I mean, I never got to where I was today if it wasn't for my experiences, even as a hockey coach back in the earlys, or a scout, or doing those. It all molded me into kind of where I am today, and being a father and all that. So I really like that aspect of it, because you said it can be a very lonely island if you're a founder. And not only do you have to worry about your own bills, your own life, your own family, your own business. If you have, 3 or 4 employees, you have to worry about their bills, their lives. You don't want to lay them off. You want to make sure that they have good lives too. So there's so many stresses in there, and having a support network through the VMSA is priceless.
Yeah, I think, there can be a lot of stress that's baked into that. And as a founder, I mean, as a leader of the organization, you're getting pulled in 1,000 directions at once. And yeah, just being able to talk to other people that have been in those kind of, senior leadership roles before, and even just to get their sense of, how should I be prioritizing my time? How, help me look at my strategy, and just, again, having people that have been there before that can work through navigating some of those hurdles. Yeah, I mean, we've just seen that it can be, it's an impactful program in the sense that, being able to provide that support system around founders that are growing companies. It's cool. No,
that's awesome. And I mean, I've heard, known about VMSA for a while, and then I think and I'm so excited. That's why you decided to come on again. I'm talking with Chris Doble, the program director at VMSA. VMSA.org, I believe. The website is on, right here, and it's also right in the comment section. So click on it; it'll take you there to find out more information about them. But I think, kicking off 2021, I think talking mentorship is from what we're coming through and still going through to, I've talked to well over 300 companies in the last probably 9-10 months, and it's been a little bits of advice here. Maybe it's a little reassurance. Maybe it's just that, here's my, keep on calling me if you ever want to talk to somebody, or maybe you don't want to talk about work. Maybe you want to talk about baseball. Maybe you just want to forget about, you want to go for a walk and talk, whatever it is. You need someone to rely on that's there for you, and that can listen to you, because that's such an important part of being a mentor. So when you're looking for your mentors, what are you looking for, and what type of companies or mentees are you looking for?
Sure. Yeah. So I guess just to start on the mentor side. So the mentors in our program, these are all kind of seasoned business leaders in the community. A lot of them are either entrepreneurs themselves that have built and scaled and, in some cases, very successfully exited companies, or the mentors will come from more kind of traditional industries, but sort of at that C-suite or senior leadership level. And really for a lot of them, I think it's an opportunity to give back. They want to help build sort of that next wave of business leader. And I think for us, when we're looking for mentors, that's a really key piece. We're looking for people that altruistically and genuinely care about others. They want to see individuals achieve success and are willing to put their time in to help with that personal development and growth in others. So I think for us, while the resume and the success that people have had in their business career is important, we're always looking for what we call kind of the mentor DNA. It's a certain type of person that wants to see others succeed and genuinely wants to help others. So I think really there's a humility piece on our end, particularly because we do work in a team mentorship model. You're in that room with 2 other mentors, and recognizing that as much as you've had success and you have one lens or way of looking at things, there might be other equally valid ways of looking at things around the table. And so, we're looking for people that, have that humility. They can check the ego at the door and want to help others succeed. And also people that see it as a learning opportunity for themselves as well. So for us, of course, I'm biased working in the program, but, we're really proud of the mentor pool that we've been able to put together. It's a really cool group of people that, are really smart and very genuine and wanting to help others. It's cool. The other thing that I didn't touch on earlier is that we do take a really strong coaching philosophy to mentorship, where for us, the mentorship relationship, it's less about our mentors giving kind of that direct advice and guidance, or, it's not for us about telling people what to do or telling them how to run their business. We do really play in that coaching space where it's much more about the mentors asking the right questions that really challenge an entrepreneur to, maybe think differently about themselves and their business, maybe see things with some perspective that they hadn't considered. And the mentors are there to ask the right questions that ultimately drive an entrepreneur to come to their own conclusions and solve their own problems. And so, when we're looking for mentors to join the program, we're really looking for people that are willing and able to take off kind of that advisor hat and really put on that coaching hat and stay in that coaching space. But like I said, the humility, it's a big piece for us. And then, on the other side of the table for entrepreneurs, we do have some criteria around the business in terms of what we're looking for. We're an industry agnostic program, so we work with ventures from all different sectors, but there does need to be a scalability component to the venture. And we do typically work with companies that are kind of at that scale up stage. So, they've sort of proven out their business model. They've got some market validation. In most cases, they're in operation, earning revenue, and things are really starting to ramp up. And for us, it's the growth challenges that a founder is going to face as their company starts to scale. That's really where our mentors can jump in. So we are looking for companies that are at that specific stage. But again, similar to the way we have, sort of these extra factors on the mentor side, on the entrepreneur side, it's such a buzzy word these days, but coachability is such a key thing for us. Just the way the program works and the way the model works, we're really looking for people that are open to this style of learning and are willing to be open and be vulnerable and come to the table and be willing to go deep and talk about, some of the deeper issues at play and be willing to have those difficult sometimes conversations with the mentors. So it takes a certain type of person that's willing to put in the work to do that. So for us, finding people that are coachable, it's key.
No, and I loved your analogy of the. I'm a big analogy guy anyway, but you work on the driver and not the car. I mean, if the driver's not right, or if there is no driver, the car's irrelevant. So it's such an important thing. Again, I'm talking with Chris Doble, the program director at VMSA. You can click on their website in the comments section. The one thing about mentors and move forward here, and I guess for anybody that's listening out there. Are you looking for more? Let's get a little plug here. Is there anything that you need right now from, that's saying, okay, I need like 10 more mentors, or I'm sure it's probably easier to find the companies that'll come to you to ask for help than it is to find the people that will volunteer their time. Or are you looking for anybody? Do you have a very good, ratio to male to female to, anything along those lines? Is there anything they needs right now?
Yeah, no, I appreciate you asking. It's a great question. So, for us, I guess somewhat similar to a startup or a scale up company, growth is kind of the name of the game for us right now. So, I think, we're really proud of the program that we've built. We have 27 companies currently in the program, and we would love to expand that. So the name of the game for me right now is trying to find more companies that are looking for this kind of help. I think we do have a really good mentor network right now, and we have the capacity to take on some new teams. So right now we are really looking for kind of, like I said, companies that are at that scale up stage and founders specifically that think that they could benefit from that type of coaching approach and that type of personal sort of leadership development. We're looking for companies. So if you're the founder of a scaling stage organization and looking for some mentorship from some heavyweights of the business community, let me know. I appreciate the question too about kind of specifics. Right now, we'd love to get more female founders into the program. Our founder pool is a little bit male heavy. We'd love to balance that out, but yeah, industry agnostic, looking for companies from all different sectors, and yeah, really just want to grow. Like I said, we're proud of the impact that the program's been able to have on people, and if we can bring that to more founders in the community, that's really what we're striving to do, particularly in 2021. So
perfect. I'd like to know a little bit more about the process that you guys have. So I know, like say Dean and Linear Logistics. Dean's been they've been 5-6 years now, growing even longer maybe, and growing, and he's still in your program. So how does one person, say Jade Alberts wants to come and have Pure Guidance as being come through the VMSA program? Walk me through the steps that I have to go through to join the program.
Sure. Yeah. So it always starts with a conversation with myself. So I can leave some contact information, or maybe viewers can get in touch through you, Jade. But yeah, it always starts with a conversation with myself. We do have a relatively thorough intake process, just on both sides, for mentors and entrepreneurs. Just it's really important for us that we're finding the right combination, or the right types of people that are really open to what it is that we're doing. Because I will say, as impactful as our program can be, it's not for everyone. And for some people or people at certain stages, it could be exactly the right fit. If it's not, there might be other resources in the community. There might be more advisory resources that could be better fit. So, that first stage, that first conversation with myself is really kind of just to assess, is this the type of program that could be a good fit? Are there other resources in the community that should be, leveraged first? But starts with a conversation with myself. We always have, a conversation with a couple of mentors in the program. Again, just so the mentors can say, is this the type of person that we think, we can help, that we think could benefit from this type of mentorship experience. And then once someone kind of has a few conversations with people in the program, then we'll get them matched very specifically with 3 mentors that we kind of handpick based on what the needs are of that entrepreneur. So by the time a founder has gone through our intake process, we have a pretty good idea of where they're at, what some of their challenges are going to be, and then we can kind of handpick mentors that we know can bring specific perspective and expertise that can help that person. And then once they're in the program, teams meet sort of on a regular cadence. The really cool thing about this MIT model for the VMS program is that it's not cohort driven. So once a founder is in the program, they're welcome to stay in the program as long as they like, and as long as they're getting value from it and the mentors are still happy to work with them, they can stay in the program for as long as they like. So our program's been around for just over 6 years now. We've had some ventures that have been in the program for 6 years. And the nice thing about the team dynamic is that, as a venture grows or a founder grows, their needs are going to change. The challenges change. And the cool thing about the team model is that you can actually rotate mentors on and off a team. So as you hit a different stage or, different sets of challenges, you can rotate a mentor on that has specific expertise in that field. And it's kind of cool the way we've seen entrepreneurs, once they're in, kind of be able to grow within the program.
So do you have a lot of people go from mentee to mentor?
Actually, it's funny that you asked that. We just had our first kind of jump from one side of the table to the other. So one of our longtime entrepreneurs was in the program for about 6 years, worked his venture up and through a bunch of different challenges. Ultimately, his business got acquired, which is a really great success story for our program, also just for the community. And same kind of thing, he learned a ton along the way, and like I said before, he just wanted to give back and was on the receiving end a lot of this great mentorship and wanted to pay it forward. So just last month, he swapped sides and has come in as a mentor, and it's really, really awesome to see.
And that says a lot for your program, obviously, right? And when you're saying it sees the value in it and help them to get to their end goal, sell their company if that was his goal. I mean, great things. And saying now it's time for me to give back, and I mean, you've been in this ecosystem for a while, as have I, and I really do see that everybody's there to help. Alberta's such a give it back, pay it forward, whatever you want to use. Entrepreneurship world. It's awesome to see that. So I'm glad that I mean, I actually thought there might be a few more that actually did it, but I'm glad that there actually has been someone that's, switched sides, so to say.
Yeah. And so so I joined this program at the start of last year in January 2020. Prior to that, I spent 2.5 years in Edmonton working in the VMS program up in Edmonton. And we saw it happen there as well. They had a few other cases where entrepreneurs had come through the program and then jumped over to the mentor side. One of the really cool things actually that we've seen in the program in Edmonton, and we haven't seen it yet in Calgary, is actually the opposite, is mentors that have seen the value of having this mentorship team around them, and people that were mentors in the program that started new businesses and actually came back into the program as entrepreneurs, which is really cool too. People that, again, have, from the mentor side of the table, seen the impact that sounding board and that, that board of consciousness can have, and wanting to get that for themselves. So it's been cool to kind of see that sort of transition work both ways.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, that just shows the value on both sides of the table, right? It's and it says a lot for your program. So congrats on what you guys have done here in the last 6 years. It's awesome.
Yeah, I think it too. I think it's a testament to the fact that no matter where you're at in your growth stage or in your career, there's always room for that mentorship. There's always value in having that sounding board or that, that person that you can talk to and bounce ideas off of. And yeah, it's been cool. And I totally agree with you. I think Calgary and Alberta has just been a very kind of inclusive and welcoming community. And it's been really cool to see how open people are to helping one another. And yeah, it makes you proud to be part of it.
Oh, it sure does. It sure does. So what's next for VMSA? Let's say, maybe a 1 year, 2 year, 5 year.
Yeah, it's a good question. So we just wrapped up the first year of kind of our 3-year strategic plan. And like I said, growth is really the name of the game. It kind of feels to a certain extent like we've been sort of this, this highly impactful secret in the community. And we're just trying to get that word out a little more. And for myself, I'd like to do a better job of sort of telling the stories of what it is that we're doing. And like I said, just seeing if we can bring this program to more people in the community. So yeah, that's kind of number one on the to-do list is see if we can grow the program and find more founders that want to participate. But yeah, it's going to be a cool year. It's an exciting year. We work very closely with Platform Calgary. They're our host partner. They're building the new Platform Innovation Center downtown. So once that opens up, that will actually be, a new home, a new physical home for VMSA. So that's going to be a cool thing happening in 2021. And yeah, looking forward to the year.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I guess the Entrepreneurship Center or whatever I can't remember what it's going to be called, to opening. I mean, I'm seeing all the companies like Alberta IoT, even us at Canadian Blockchain Consortium are thinking about going down there and having some space. But you're really going to see a hub now of for everybody can just get together and collaborate. I'm pumped about it. And Platform and Terry and the entire team down there are just outstanding, and they do such a great job in the ecosystem here in Alberta. Yeah,
I was lucky enough just before the holiday break, I was able to be part of a hard hat tour that got to go down and, the building's in construction. I got to go check it out. And yeah, just really cool to see. And it's exciting. Like you said, I think Calgary with the CIC and other groups, we've sort of built like there's a good sort of hub of organizations and groups in the community, but to actually have like a physical location where we can be and sort of have these collisions take place. And I think it's exciting. It'll be really cool for the city and for the province.
No, I totally agree with you. Absolutely. So, I mean, we've had such a great conversation, and I always hate when our conversations have to come to an end. We could just, scream for, a couple hours sometimes. But
we could talk more baseball for hours.
Yeah, we could talk baseball all again, right? I know. And my last question, I mean, it's always the same. But I would like you to put a little different spin on it, because you deal on, a lot of them I talk about, it's about, the business and things along those lines. But I mean, with this specifically being a mentor, what should a mentor, or what would be one piece of advice a mentor could give to a small business, startup, or entrepreneur?
Like what advice would I give to a mentor that's working with? Oh man, that's a good one. I don't know if I've actually been asked that one before. Good piece of advice for a mentor. I mean, I think one of the things that I've learned, and like I said, we take a very specific kind of coaching approach to mentorship. And And, we recognize that that's it's not necessarily a skill that people are just born with. Like anything else, it's a skill. Like it takes that coaching approach. It takes practice. It takes work. We put all of our mentors through a training program. Quick shout out to a group from Victoria called the Roy Group, and Ian Chisholm and his team there. They do a fantastic job with sort of this mentorship and coaching training. I think for mentors, it's just recognizing that it takes work. It takes practice. It takes training. I think it is a skill that, like anything else, should be honed and should be developed. And I think just looking at it from that lens is important. That, if you're starting out in a mentorship role, it can be clunky at first. But I think it's important to just, practice and put the work in to get better. And I guess that's just it. I mean, there's a lot of great training resources for mentors. And I'm happy to talk to people if they are interested in learning more about what some of those are. But I think, just recognizing that it takes work. Mentorship takes work.
It sure does. And I've been waiting to ask this question, that specific question, for a while. I just haven't had it. It's almost like it was saved for you.
Hey, perfect.
And it was because I was asked that question, and I do some mentorship through the Bow Valley College with entrepreneurs. And I was asked that question, and I was like, man, that's a very good question. And my answer is you have to be honest and you have to listen. And it was just that simple as, you can't get in there and tell. I mean, it's every single question, every single problem, every single issue is different, and different from industry to person to company to employee problems, whatever it is, it's different. So listening is very important. And that's something that, I mean, again, I don't think anybody's a good listener, and it's something that I've had to learn. As you say, you're just not good at it, or you're not. It's taking me almost 49 years, and I still don't know. And I know I haven't perfected it yet. So
yeah, I think that's one of the things is that people can be quick to want to problem solve, and particularly in the entrepreneurial space, right? Like problem solving is the name of the game, and it can be easy to just jump in and want to problem solve right away. And I think you're absolutely right. Like, I think that where the real challenge can be in the mentor seat is exactly that. It's taking the time to listen and recognizing that, despite the experience that you've had and the things you've seen, you'll never fully understand all of the context of what the mentee is going through. And so taking time to really listen, it's important. And that's why for us, I mean, we really like that coaching philosophy, because that's really what it's about. It's about taking the time to listen. And then rather than coming back with, a piece of direct advice or guidance, it's about coming back with the right question that's going to challenge the entrepreneur to go a little bit deeper or to think a little bit differently. And it's not to say that it's, the only way or the right way. Like, I think there are definitely times where what people need is more of that advisor help. They need someone that's going to come in and say, hey, this is something that you need to do, or you need to, don't do this. Like, I think that is equally as important. There's a time and a place for both. And so, we really like to focus kind of on just that coaching space. And I think if you were to talk to a lot of the mentors in our program, I've heard this from a lot of them that, 80% of the time spent in these meetings is just listening. It's just sitting back and, kind of having to bite your tongue at times when you see that there's maybe a solution that's right there. And it's about not necessarily just handing that over to the mentee, but it's about, taking the time to let them work through it and then maybe ask a question that can get them to that realization on their own. But like I said, I mean, that takes practice. Like, it takes work. And, and so I guess that's the one thing is my advice, if you will, is, I suppose, just recognize that it's a skill. It takes practice.
And it is good advice. And I mean, as I say all along, asking for help is not a sign of weakness. And literally, as it says, it takes a village. And Chris, thank you for coming on and sharing what VMSA does. It's very important. Mentorship is something I talk about on a regular basis with people when I'm out there. It doesn't matter who it is. And everybody, you need it, and it doesn't have to be, and this is it doesn't have to be through VMSA. Even if you know somebody and you respect somebody and you think, what, I really want that person to ask them to be your mentor, saying, listen, do you mind if I run things by you if I have a question? It's as simple as that. And then maybe you graduate into going into a, you know, a VMSA program or something like that. But it's just so important. And I know you'd agree. And then if you have a mentor and you have someone that you respect, it's a very good thing.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, there's, you know, formal mentorship programs like ours, but just like you said, having even informal mentorship relationships with people that you can go and bounce ideas off of. Yeah, I can't say enough about the importance of that. So yeah, thanks for having me on. I appreciate, you know, any opportunity to come and talk about mentorship and talk about what it is that we do. Obviously, it's something that's, you know, important to me and important to the work we do. And yeah, thanks, Jade. Appreciate you giving us the chance to come chat.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm gonna hold you to it. Every time I see you somewhere, I'm gonna ask you if you're on more podcasts or if you're on more Facebook Lives or more shows. I'm gonna ask you to make sure that you're out there for the program, because we need it.
Sounds good. I appreciate it.
I just want to use that bat for baseball, nothing else, right?
Yeah, that's right.
All right. I hope everybody has a great day. Again, Chris, thank you very much for joining me today, and I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their week.
Thanks, Jade.
Okay, bye-bye.